Silent here. Gavin McInnes has his head so fucking far up his ass, he doesn't understand definitions. Now, I'm not saying this guy is retarded, but some of the shit he says in this video is retarded. And it's really frustrating, because I know he isn't retarded. What do I mean by this? You can say stupid shit and not be stupid. And I think Gavin is saying some of the dumbest shit I've heard in a long ass time. Really dumb shit. And why I hate him, and why I hate him for being so stupid, is that I have to defend feminists. I have to defend stupid people because he's stupider. Because he says shit that is so mental that I have to say, moderate feminists look sane in comparison to you, dude. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So without further ado, let's begin.
All right, guys, here's 5 ways to tell if you're a sexist. And we're going to do this in the form of a game. It's called, Is This Sexist or Feminist? All right, let's start with rape. Rape in an alleyway at knife point, pretty much the worst thing you could have. Before feminism, men wanted to make it a capital punishment. They wanted to make it an offense where you were killed if you raped a woman. However, today we have things like fart rape. We are told that if you are drunk when you have sex, that is rape. We are told that all men are rapists. We are told that sex you regret later is rape. When a woman lies about it, she's a hero. When women are caught flirting with their alleged rapists, after the fact, we are told there are no perfect victims. So it gets to the point where you can lie about rape because you're raising awareness. Thanks, Mattress Girl. That brings rape in the general, that dilutes the definition to the point where when someone says, I was raped, your first thought is, who farted? Is that sexist or feminist?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much all this. He gets stupider as it goes on, don't worry.
Let's try body image. Big is beautiful. Women who are hundreds of pounds overweight need to love themselves. You know, when you fat shame someone, it just makes them eat more. So do the opposite of that, especially with kids. It's bullying if you tell them they're fat. So let's get people, especially women, let's get them nice and big and plump, even though 500,000 Americans die every year of obesity. Is pointing out that hate fact sexist or feminist?
Once again, I agree with most of this. I'd just like to point out, fat shaming isn't good, and it's not helpful, and it also leads to probably more emotional eating than what you're talking about before, which is just positively saying, yeah, it's good to be fat. That's also bad. Both of those things are bad. I think you can tell someone, hey, maybe eating less, maybe you need to find new ways to diet, maybe you need to go out play some more, well, to kids, you need to go walk outside more, you need to be more active. I think there are a lot of ways to tell people, hey, you might want to lose some weight without telling them, shut the fuck up, fatty, right? And Kasparian shit.
How about sex itself? It used to be men had to court women to have sex. Now they just go, well, why buy the cow when I'm getting the milk for free?
And here comes the stupid. So, why would I want to get married? Because I don't want to have to keep courting people. I don't want to keep having to try to fuck different people. Also, there's something about love and staying with someone that I find very attractive for the rest of my life. Also, I don't want to be 70 and trying to find old lazy just to fuck. Marriage isn't going anywhere. Okay, this is more conservative crazy. That's in, I don't think this guy's going full retard. He's not. But this is the conservative agenda that's kind of seeping into someone who I think is overall pretty smart. And I'm the kind of person that kind of says, you're super, regressive. You're super crazy, right? You're probably retarded because that means you're getting fed bullshit and you're accepting that bullshit on face value. Don't accept this, dude.
And you can have slut walks, and women are fuck buddies, and sex is cool, and there's no ramifications. In fact, I read recently an article where this young girl was saying, it sucks because sometimes you catch feelings during these hookups. Yeah, that sucks. Love sucks.
Gavin. Why are you cherry picking? Why are you not going to all the blogs who are all over the internet complaining about hookup culture, about all the blogs that absolutely hate it. And why are you talking about the mass amount of universities, such as Baylor, that as a community reject that culture? I mean, it happens. It's you have young people that are horny, all that kind of stuff, but have overwhelmingly rejected a hookup culture. Now, I'm not saying Baylor is the norm, because Baylor is certainly not the norm. But why have you cherry picked this thing that's clearly not not even representing your side? Right? This is bias. This is spin. Dude, come on.
Having to court a woman and then provide for her for the rest of her life is lame. You should just keep having sex with women, using them as a colostomy bag for your semen for their entire lives. Slut walk her way well into her 40s where she can have a lonely life with her dog. Is that sexist or feminist?
Gavin, do you like going to history class? Or do you like looking up history? Do you like the 50s? Does the 50s excite you? Is that just a great time? Do you want to be stuck in there forever? Do you want to be stuck in a time where women get fucking harassed in the workplace awfully? I mean, do you want to not to sound like a fucking feminist or regressive here, but do you want to live in a world where men provide for women and women have no ability to work for themselves, and women are forced to be dependent on men? Because it sounds like that's what you want. That's not what I want. That's not what anybody should fucking want. And from what I'm inferring of what you're saying, and it's not quite clear, that disgusts me. You disgust me when you say that. Because when you have a woman who is completely dependent on you, who's only the mother of your children, who has no ability to work, and all she does is sit at home, cook, clean, and make babies, that is exactly the kind of fuck bag, depository for your semen that you're fucking talking about, you fucking hypocrite. It's just a slippery slope down the longer this video goes.
How about abortion? Not only can men have sex with anyone they want, right? There's no ramifications if she gets pregnant.
Now, I understand you're trying to be a little bit satirical, but you do a really shitty job of it, so I'm just going to assume that what you're saying is what you actually believe. The irony of what you just said there, because you are about to go in to all the awful things that happen to women who get abortions and how awful it makes them feel and how much it ruins shit that they do for the rest of their life and how much women regret it. And you're about to go into that to an attempt to shame women to not get abortions while at the same time saying, oh, look, men just get away with it, women just get away with it, sex is meaningless.
She just has an abortion. Now, that is unnatural, believe it or not, and Darwin has injected some serious evolutionary regrets. When I talked to a woman last night who had a 4.5-month abortion, and she couldn't look at a picture of it, of course. It doesn't fit in your brain to do that. But it's not uncommon today for young girls to have gone through, say, 4, because men ejaculate into women. They like it. It feels good. What?
Gavin, let me drop some hardcore truth bombs in your ass right now. The female body is the greatest aborter of babies of all time. Because, the National Department of Health Services or something like that estimates that 1 out of every 3 zygotes are sloughed off by the female body because they fail or just because the human body just rejects them. Female body just rejects them. So if you're talking about how bad abortion is, why are you talking about how bad women are for aborting children throughout all of time? Every woman has had their own body abort babies. The female body is the greatest murder of babies of all time. If you consider a bundle of cells, I'm not talking about an embryo, I'm not talking about a fetus, I'm talking about a fucking zygote. I'm talking about 1 to what is it, 128 fucking cells. Whatever the fucking number is, it multiplies. I'm talking about those cells that get sloughed off really early on in pregnancy, in the first week of pregnancy. That is not human life. What the fuck? Because if it was, how many women should be in fucking jail right now? If abortion is a crime to murder someone. You have your head so fucking far up your ass. And if you have a problem with abortion so much, why don't you support contraception? Why don't you support, and why doesn't the party that you have the same ideals as support all the fucking sex classes in the world? to teach kids how not to get pregnant in the first place. But no, you and friends like your friends like Steven Crowder don't like condoms and don't think that any fucking man should ever wear a condom. I'm not saying you do that. Steven Crowder does that. Look it up. It's real.
How do you not know that's going to lead to problems? Do you poo your pants too? That feels good. So we have a world where women do what they are naturally predisposed to do. They get pregnant. Their body works correctly. And for that, they get mental trauma for the rest of their lives because a dude wanted to enjoy himself and it feels 10% nicer to go in than out. Is that sexist or feminist?
Once again, I can't tell how much is satire or not. But dude, you understand. There's no perfect form of contraception. The pill has a 99% success rate. You can still ovulate and get pregnant. Condoms are only 90% effective, 70% effective. Even IUDs or whatever the hormone stuff that they put under the skin, those aren't 100% effective. So you can be taking shit tons of contraceptive and still fucking get pregnant. And it's just because dudes can come inside you? No, that's not why it fucking is. That's not why it fucking happens. The reason why it happens is because kids, young fucking kids, or just ignorant fucking retards, have pregnant when they're not using contraception because they either have not been taught how to use contraception properly, or they're just idiots. Okay? Do you want more stupid babies in the world? Because those stupid babies are going to be poor. They're going to vote Democrat. Don't think you'd like that too much, would you?
Here's our last one. How about gender? Okay? Women are the same as men. That giving birth thing, that's boring. That's lame. Don't even pay attention to that. Women have careers. They drive race cars and they kick butts in movies. They're total badasses. They rock out on guitars. And you know what? Their vaginas don't even make them women. A guy could just go, I'm a chick, and put on a wig. I don't even know if he needs a wig. He doesn't even need to have fake tits put in. As soon as a guy says that he's a chick, he's a chick. That's how easy it is to be a woman. That's how nothing it is to be a woman.
You ignorant cunt. You have no understanding of anything. You don't understand anything about sexuality. You don't understand anything about fucking gender. Now, I also agree with you. I don't think there's 20 fucking genders. I think there's fucking 2. There's 2 sexes and there's 2 genders. But people who are transitioning from one real gender to another fucking real gender. I don't understand what's so fucking hard about that. And there are people who cross-dress. Cross-dressing does not fucking mean that you're transsexual. It does not mean that. It does not mean that you are transitioning. It does not mean that you are transitioning from boy or girl boy. You can cross-dress and still be a fucking straight dude or be a straight female. Okay? That is not fucking how it works. And I agree that if you just put on a dress, it doesn't make you a female. But who the fuck is saying that I'm a woman and is not growing out their hair, not putting makeup on, not attempting to look more like a woman, and reverse the other way for women trying to turn into guys? Because that's what they identify themselves as. You don't fucking understand self-identification, and you don't understand what the fuck the difference is between cross-dressing and transitioning, you stupid fuck. Educate yourself, asshole.
In fact, did you know the term sausage fest is sexist? It's transist. Because just saying a room is full of people with penises doesn't mean they're all men. Could be a room of women with penises. Did you also know that it is transist to make abortion a woman's issue? No. Some men might have abortions, or some woman who identifies as a man might accidentally get pregnant and get an abortion. That's a dude having an abortion. So don't talk about it.
When is this happening, Gavin? When is this happening? See, the thing is that you're so stupid. When you see feminists talk about stupid shit, right? You're making fun of feminists, but you're also making fun of yourself. Because when feminists say stupid shit like this, right? I'm in agreement, it's stupid. When they say stupid shit like, oh my gosh, you can't say if it's a man or a woman getting an abortion, you go full retard. Because you're acting as if this is a situation which just never happens. If you bring this up, your response should be, ha 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 ha, that's retarded, because when the fuck is that happening? Show me a single example, Gavin. And I say the same thing as those fucking feminists. Show me a single example of when this actually happens, when this isn't actually an issue. The thing is that you are biting into the stupid. Right? You're identifying it as stupid, but you're still biting into it. You're taking the fucking bait. Dude, come on.
Look, by the way, look at Chris Hayes' face when he untwists this retarded pretzel.
The younger feminists, for example, at the abortion funds, no longer want to use the word woman in relation to abortion because it excludes trans men. And
right, because when we're talking about reproductive, the physical attributes that allow one to give birth, right, that is part of the category that is sex, right? That's a physical category. That's not gender.
Pause. Now, Gavin's about to talk shit about this dude. Let me just be clear. This guy's not smart. All he's doing is reciting a dictionary definition, and he's right. He's right because that's what the fucking dictionary definition is. Your gender is what sex you identify yourself as, essentially. And your sex is what your chromosomes are. It's what you physically present as, and it's what you actually are. If you have a vagina, your sex is female. Now, you could have a male gender, but your sex will always be female because you can't change your fucking chromosomes. And Gavin has no concept of definitions, no understanding.
Did you see how smug he was? Let's go back. I want to see that face frame by frame. Look at it.
There's been this kind of...
He's so proud of himself. See, that is the liberal ethos in a nutshell. They make this tangled mess, this Rubik's Cube of terms and political correct verbiage, and then when they solve it and show you, they go,
Gavin, you fucking retard. Feminists and regressives, not liberals, did not make those words. Those words have been around, to my knowledge, for hundreds of years. For hundreds of years. The only difference is between modern day differences between sex and gender and past days, like the 1800s, was that past there was no difference. Because if you were trans, or if you were gay, you were ostracized or you died. There was no way that you could be openly transsexual at the time. And openly trans. So Gavin, you fucking moron. These are definitions. And I resent the fact that you use the word liberal instead of regressive. Because a liberal is anywhere from the dead fucking center to the crazy. And what you were doing is you were coming up with one word to define 150-ish million people in the US and saying they're all the way on the left. What that is essentially doing is it's doing the same fucking thing as if I went all the way to Tea Party, all the way to fucking crazy, all the way to anarchists, all the way to Duck Dynasty, and said that represents social conservatives. The most moderate section of the Republican Party. That is what you are fucking doing, and it is disgusting. Semantics matter. There's a difference between political correctness, by the way, and semantics. Using the correct words in the correct situation. And you don't fucking understand the difference. Using the wrong words is not politically incorrect. It is stupid. Politically incorrect is saying, I only think there's two genders. That's politically incorrect. Now, saying straight up, you don't fucking understand the difference between gender and sex and what those definitions are, is not politically incorrect. It's retarded.
Look, I did my stupid puzzle. It's got nothing to do with reality. They don't care. Anyway, that was number 5. Being a punk is harder than being a woman at this point. To say I'm a punk, you need to get the hairdo, the boots, the motorcycle jacket. You need at least one Sex Pistols record. Not so with a woman. Just say you're a woman and you're a woman. Is that sexist or feminist?
If you were a justice on the Supreme Court and you were the deciding vote, you would have just violated those very rights in the First Amendment that you so hold dear. Because the right to self-identification, the right to choose to say I'm a Christian, I'm not a Christian, the right to say I'm gay, I'm straight, the right to say I'm a man, I'm a woman, the right to say I'm a liberal, I'm a conservative, is all part of free speech and self-identification that is a fucking unalienable right in the Constitution, and you would fucking violate it, you fucking asshole. You fucking asshole, dude. You have no respect for people self-identifying. You have absolutely no respect for that, because what you think is is you think that sex absolutely means gender. And what you are implying when you say this shit, and it's so easy, you can just say you're a fucking woman, is what you're implying is that people who are trans don't fucking, they aren't real, and they can't identify. You're saying, I'm identifying fucking for you. I'm identifying you, you're XY, I'm identifying you as a man because that's what I think is right. And that is exactly how your religious beliefs, and I know he doesn't expressly state it, but I've seen enough of his shit, is how your religious beliefs, Gavin, make you an ass and completely make the Republican Party and the far-right conservatives fucking disgusting to me sometimes.
Being a feminist today means you trivialize rape. You say it's not unhealthy to be unhealthy. You say that you don't believe love exists, and you don't think sex has consequences. In other words, to be a feminist today, you don't attach value to what it means to be a woman.
I know you can't see me right now, but I'm face palming. I might not be talking directly into my mic right now. That's because I'm still fucking face palming. Dude, listen to me. I agree with you on so many points. You're wrong on so many points, but I also agree with you. Feminism is fucking cancer. Modern feminism is fucking cancer. But what you do is you make yourself look like an ass, and you also make feminists look good. Because I know a lot of the shit that I've said in this video is what a lot of feminists would agree with. Probably moderate feminists, but you know, a lot of feminists, I wouldn't say most, but I think a lot of feminists, from what I've met them in actual person, probably agree with a lot of the shit I'm saying, arguing against you. The problem is that when you take a small set of radical motherfuckers and expand them to a whole fucking group, you make yourself look like an ass. That's exactly what you're fucking doing. Now, I understand that a lot of those crazies are representative of the movement, and they're representative of a lot of feminists. They are. But you're not saying a lot of feminists support fat acceptance. This is stupid, because I would agree with you there. What you're doing is you're taking 5 separate things that go increasingly more radical and bunching them all up. So what you're doing is you're making a smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller fraction of feminists that actually agree with all of these things, and saying that small fraction is the whole. It's the whole. That's exactly the same as me saying that fucking Trump is all of fucking... That's the same thing as saying Trump is all of the Republican Party. And that's the same thing as saying that Bernie Sanders is the same as all of the Democratic Party. And it makes you look like an ass. And here's the thing, what it really frustrates me is it makes other people, like myself, like a lot of moderate YouTubers, and like a lot of moderate spokespeople, look bad. Because people say, hey, look, they're a conservative. Look, they're right-leaning. They clearly must agree with a lot of this crazy shit that is practically just flowing out of Fox News. In fact, it's more right than fucking Fox News. What you are doing is the people who are anti-feminist, people who are also with you on a lot of these issues, you are making them look bad. Because you have your head so far up your fucking own ass in your own religious beliefs, you can't stop for a second and say, hey, maybe I'd be violating someone's constitutional rights if I made a law about this. Maybe my beliefs come really close to being anarchical and being authoritarian. Maybe. Just maybe. So thanks guys for watching. That's all I have time for you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.